daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Southampton, part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. My name is Greg Elliott, and as always today joined by my good friend and wonderful co-host, Zach Ingo Finch. How you doing, mate? You right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm slightly more animated than I was in our podcast yesterday, but not a huge amount. It's just been a busy week. And it's kind of like it's been a hectic week, and obviously the buzz from the Liverpool games died down, and now we head into a game that you described last weekend as scary, which I'm going to throw you right to the bus there. I don't know if you've actually said it on the podcast, or you're trying to keep up your optimism.
I think I said it on the podcast several times, mate. They look like a team that's well together, and it is scary coming up against a team like that. I mean, they're top of the championship at the moment for a reason, and
I said the same, mate, against Stoke, and you were like, "But it's Stoke, that won't be a game with goals," and then it ended up being like a crazy game in comparison.
Yeah, but I mean, the main difference I saw between Borough last week and us is that they're playing like a team that's together and knows they're in their stride, they're settled, and
sure.
And if we come at it in the same way that we came at Liverpool, we'll probably be all right and come away with something decent. But if we come at it like we went to Hull, we're in for a rough afternoon. And
how do you feel coming into it? Bear in mind that last weekend you tried to question me on whether that game was a must-win. Obviously, we lost. So
yeah. I've seen some comments on social media like, if we don't win this, we're not going up. And I think that's a bit much. I mean, we're still
so early into the season to say things like that.
It's still well early, isn't it? Like, we're 6 games in? He says definitely knowing, but it's so early. Like, there's so many games in this Championship League, and they come so thick and fast. It's too early, and I think the difference between last week and this week is that we would consistently be expecting to beat a team who are going to finish, roughly where you'd expect Hull to finish in the Championship. Whereas realistically, looking at the form coming into this game, a point's probably good enough. You don't want to go into a game with that mentality, and I still obviously think we're going to win. But it's definitely not must win. It's not a team that we should be beating. Like, even if you look back, like, we've basically split the history statistics like 50-50. So it's like 3 wins for Saints, 2 wins for Borough, and 1 draw. So it's like...
Yeah, but the last season we were in the Championship, I think it was a draw and a loss against them, right? And again, so much has changed then. And it's why I really struggle to kind of look back on historical games like that and think it matters, because, most of the people have changed, and, there could be many reasons as to why. But, I think that having Rob Edwards as a head coach has helped them massively. A coach that's got a team promoted before, but also a coach that got a team promoted and then that team came back down and then has now gone back down into League One. So, yeah.
Yeah. But look, we're 6 games in and they've won 5, drawn 1. So let's take it for what it is. This is scary together opposition that is going to give us a tough game, and that, probably just about head into the weekend favourites, if we're being honest with ourselves. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the betting odds to know what way the bookies go, but you would think, based off of form alone, that's the case. When realistically, we're just sort of hopefully hitting our stride, and hopefully that's the point we turn around, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at me as not as confident in that as me. How are you feeling heading into the game?
I think they are there on merit, and I think we should treat them as so. And I think that what you said about the togetherness and the time together is right. I think where I'm at is I can't help but look ahead, and I know we've kind of given excuses for Will still a little bit in the sense of like, oh, well, he's only been with the players for a week and this, that, the other, and we haven't had that much time, and there's only so much time you can bed in. I think until we start getting that results, that is going to be a question. I just worry that it's not going to be in this game, or the flip side is we have a really good game, we get a statement win and we beat them, which would be lovely. I just can't see it coming yet, despite the fact we had such a good performance against Liverpool. Because again, I still feel like that was a very Saints thing to do, is go out, put a really sprightly performance against like a really good side at Anfield on the television with a bunch of players trying to stake their claim. And I'm just hoping we don't fall flat off the back of it this weekend, because that is
wouldn't
what
it also be an
Saintsy.
incredibly Saints thing to do, to stick with that, put in a really solid performance and maybe get a win against the team that are top of the table, and then go and lose to Sheffield United on Tuesday, who haven't won a game yet? Like, isn't that more Saints? Like, of the two fixtures, is actually Sheffield United the one we should be scared about?
I actually think, mate, the current Saints thing to do is just lose. Which is depressing as it is unfortunately, statistically backed up. Regardless of whether you like statistics or not, when it comes to win, draw, losses, mate, you have to pay some attention to it. So yeah, I don't really know. I don't feel super confident going into it, just because I know of how well Middlesbrough have been. And it'll be interesting to see if Finn Azaz gets back to in the side against his former club, and whether or not he regrets moving over, or, a lot of Borough fans, I can't work out if it's that they're mad that one of their best players is gone, or they genuinely feel like, oh, he goes missing in big games anyway, you've got the real Finn Azaz, blah, 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 blah. Whether it's just taking time to gel or whatever. It'll be interesting to see him go back and score against them, for example. But
well, it's interesting, right? Because after such a good performance on Tuesday with 9 changes, it really gives a proper selection headache.
I guess we'll get into that after the break, mate, because that is definitely a thing that I'm sat here going, any of them apart from maybe Edozie and Joe Aribo, because those two don't seem to have been bedded back into the team properly yet.
Yeah, you feel like
Liverpool.
I was going to say, you feel like if there was a time to reintroduce them, it was probably Tuesday and not tomorrow. So
yeah, so that's where I'm at. Other than that, we can roll the dice on everything.
That's it, mate. All right, well, yeah, let's do it. Let's get solidly into our predicted team lineups and the headache that is going to be right after a message from our partners at Bionique.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionique. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now. Your body is...
Okay, and we are back. You're right, mate. This is going to be really, really tricky. Lots of players have staked their claim. Lots of players haven't, right?
Yeah.
And players that are going to give headaches. So let's start with what some people are going to call a discussion point, but in my mind is not, where we always start. Bazunu in goal, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the case. McCarthy's being used for cup competitions. Bazunu's being put in goal for league competitions. That just seems to be the way it is. I think that, okay, they both have bad points. They both have good points. I don't think that really either of them are better than one another. Baz is younger and got more experience to gain. McCarthy is older and got more experience to lose. That's my actual opinion on it. I think that Ramsdale was our best keeper and he's no longer here. And now we have 2 okay keepers. And my biggest thing was fitness and my worry about fitness. And then they brought in a third goalkeeper that, by the sounds of it, is just there for playtime.
I heard a discussion that like maybe his plan was to put McCarthy in on Tuesday and hope he has a really good performance and use that as justification to play him Saturday.
I think he doesn't need that. He would just put in McCarthy. He's the manager.
If that is the case, and we talked yesterday a lot about consequences for individual mistakes and how you train that out, and I just think you can't put McCarthy in goal after he passed it to Isak. Like, you can't ignore that. That happened. We conceded because of it. Like,
yeah, but then you've got the flip side that people will argue, to play devil's advocate of, well, if Baz was in goal, that first save would have never happened. Which again, like, don't know that at all. I don't
think I've got more metaphors, mate, for what ifs mean, but it's inconsequential because how could you possibly know, right? Like, he might have. You just don't know. There's no way of like going back in time and seeing. It's just purely speculation. Look, I think that it will be Baz in goal, and I think that we'll be better for it personally. But that opinion might be controversial. Who knows? Back line, mate. Are we thinking that we're going to stick to a back three because it seems to be how we play our best?
I mean, that's the problem, right? I think that maybe it was too quick to move to a back four. Maybe we should only move to a back four if we need to push momentum. Like, it just doesn't seem to be working at the moment. Like, and yet a back three worked the other day.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit more fluid with sort of more forward movement from the midfield allowed by it. But
is that because we were receiving a lot more pressure than usual, whereas we're expecting to have a lot more of the ball the rest of these games, right? So this is the problem. Was it just the false illusion of us playing super well because when we did have the ball, we just actually properly went for it, which is, to be clear, what we should be doing in the first place.
But I think that of all of the teams we're going to play, that's going to be the case again this weekend because of the way Borough are going to play. They're going to want to take the ball and bring it to us and put pressure on. They're going to come into this game feeling like favourites, even if that's not sort of how it pans out. So
they are. They're not even feeling, mate. They're top of the league.
I looked at
lost the game.
I looked at the odds, and it's close. It's close.
Again, I think we're just getting that treatment of, they're a demoted side and they've spent money, so they're going to be fine. Like, that's not the case yet. Right? That's the problem. It's not the case yet. So, yeah, I wouldn't really change the back three at all. Yeah. I think they played really, really well. I think all of them.
Edwards or something. You don't see a combination of it playing out. I mean, I feel like Stevens ends up back in the lineup one way or another.
Probably. I don't know who you swap him out for, though, because I'd keep Wood. Horsey played well.
I think I'd play
Edwards played well.
I think I'd play Stevens, Quasi, and Wood.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, personally,
be upset.
I think you're right in that playing that same back three is a completely acceptable and completely viable option. And I wouldn't be upset to see it at all. I just think that he'll put Stevens back in the mix. And look, whether that pays off or comes back to bite us, I guess only time will tell. But yeah, and then fullbacks, Manning has to play, right?
In my opinion, yeah.
And then Gillette, Roshlev? I don't know.
Gillette's, he really staked his claim, and I think that on its own is worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, I did see some comments that he might have picked up a knock with no reputable sources, admittedly.
I guess we'll find out. The press. We've obviously had to record this before the press conference because the press conference is at Friday at 1:30 p.m. to just to mess up our schedule a little bit.
That's it. But I mean, I wonder also if like Roshlev would benefit from that back three system as well a little bit and not be expected to do so much of the like defensive heavy lifting. Like in the Pompey game, he was basically man marking Murphy the entire game, for better or worse. And maybe that gives him the freedom to do the sort of parts of his game that maybe he's better at. And
I just need to see them creating more, but it's not exactly a surprise. That's what we say every day.
It's all around the team, though. That's not just
this is true.
Exclusive to him. And then, what does the middle of the park look like? I mean, realistically, in my mind, we've got in the middle of the park here, and I'm going to include the sort of number 10 role here. We've got Charles, Downs, Yander, Azaz, and Fraser all staking a pretty solid claim. And really probably only got space in there for 3 of those 5, right? So what combination do you think?
Well, I don't know if Yander's picked up a proper injury, right?
Mm.
Because he seemed to have an injury, and that's why he went off. So I don't know if that's like going to be longer term or going to put him out for this game. I remember you were talking about, I think Matchday Vlogs was talking about like the removal of having Charles and Downs play together was one of the things that was good. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure they did play together for about 25 minutes at least because Yander had to come off.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and at least part of that was when the goal came. But I think that there was a bit more freedom of movement in the middle, and I don't know. I think you said that actually Flynn just had a really good game.
I just think that if
the difference.
The criticism we've given, is it just related to the fact that he's been ill since the beginning of the season? And if that's the case, then, again, like, we don't know what's going behind the scenes. We can only judge what we see on the football pitch. But he seemed to have a much better game the other day. Like, admittedly, like, there was that one, I've told you, that one attack where he went out of nowhere and sort of, he almost got there until right at the end where he kicked it directly at a Liverpool player. But like, it was a good, it was good movement forward and stuff like that. And we saw it in the Pompey game, even if he did run into 5 players and just give it away to them. So yeah, I don't know if having the two of them together just because it hasn't clicked yet doesn't mean it can't click in the future. And again, like, I would maybe play Yander and Charles again to start unless Yander's out injured. Then what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
Then apparently we're just never going to play Matsuki ever again. So there's no chance of him being there.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get looked at, to be honest.
There's a big squad and there's a lot of competition. It's what we'll still keep saying. Like, I feel like it's probably, considering you talked about how they started with a bloated squad, I don't think there's a lot less than there was when he started.
Lots of
really.
So what are we thinking? Flynn, Shea, and Zaz? Which feels harsh on Fraser, who's done quite or is Fraser taking up one of those roles on the wing?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Armstrong has got to be up top, right?
I feel like Armour's done enough to solidify his name in the team. He would be the first name on the team sheet for me.
Fellows goes back on the right. Maybe Wee Man on the left. Unless he wants to play Leo Cienza again, because he was a handful, despite the fact he didn't head the ball directly in front of him and ended up accidentally.
I saw one comment in defence of him which I liked, which was one of my biggest frustrations in this season and a lot last season, is that when we do actually kick the ball at the goal, it always tends to be straight at the keeper, and so at least he was like aiming for a corner. It narrowly missed, but he was trying to not just go straight at the defender that was in the goal. Right?
This is true. So yeah, obviously that means that we miss out on sort of that middle central bit a little bit. So that's kind of how I see it going, though, if I'm totally honest.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you say, I forgot to include Cienza in that list, but I mean, it's a really tough choice. I don't like trying to narrow this down to 11, let alone having to actually do it.
And the strikers debacle is just difficult because it's like, moment, Archer's the quote unquote most informed. Armour looked the best, right? Like, sort of had the best movement, had the quickest, looked like he was fighting for it.
Scored last week as well, let's not forget that. I know.
Yeah, that's true. So then technically he's the most informed right now. Downs, that's a debate for another time. We don't know. It just maybe you need more time to click. Who actually knows?
Did see that he deleted his social media today, which, implies that there might also be a bit of being in his own head involved. I hope that it's not because of abuse received, because it's disappointing on our fan base, honestly. But
yeah, but then
we talk about how important confidence is to doing things well, and he's not shown that yet.
I think if he had the game that he had Tuesday, and then he sat and went on social media and looked up his name, and then saw what the fact that people were saying he's not even a professional footballer, even let's face it, we've made some jokes. We're technically part of the problem. I'm not going to, say that we're not culpable in that. Like, we've tried to maybe put up a bit more of a defense than other people did, but he had a rough game. He's had some rough games. And that is going to result in questions. And then if you spend all this time on social media looking at what people are saying, you don't want to do that, because none of us are well enough to get paid to do it, or even at amateur level. Like, none of us, we're chatting essentially, but it is part of the game that I really dislike, because that can massively disrupt people. It's like, if anything, you're bad at your job for a day, or you don't quite settle in a new role, the last thing you need to do is come home from work and every day see all your colleagues and all the people that your customers be like, this person's awful. It's bad. It's harsh. And yeah, it might be that that's the case. And yeah, they're paid tons of money. That doesn't take the human element out of it. So beside the point, you've got also Ross Stewart, which I just don't know if he would get a start, because I think that I just think it was going to be Armour. That's just where I'm at.
I agree.
Deserves it the most, I think.
It's going to be a fascinating one. I can't wait to see the team sheet. I can't wait to get to the Marys. I'm literally buzzing for the game. Although cautiously, it has to be said, I'm feeling cautiously buzzing, let's say. Right, mate, you know what's coming next. Everyone's favourite hard part of the week. But first, a break and a message from our partners at Zencaster. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. The Zencaster came out the clear winner, with 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencaster. Okay, mate, we are back, and as is tradition, I'm going to throw you under the bus first. What are you feeling? How you think it's going to play out this weekend?
2-2.
Yeah.
I think we'll score twice, and they'll score twice, and that will probably be okay. And it will
that
be
is how tools work. Yeah.
Mate, if you wanna go that road, what we'll do is we'll fire up every podcast and just be like, some football is going to be played. The players are going to kick the ball to one another. Maybe you'll pick this guy. Maybe you pick that guy, and then we'll just be done.
That's not what we do. Where do you think our goals are coming from, mate? And who's scoring?
I'd like to see Armour score a brace. That'd be nice. That'd be good for him. Get some more goals in the book. Start us scoring again. I just don't see us. I don't see the win coming in this game, and I also don't see us keeping a clean sheet. But I would like to see us score them more than one goal. So the most optimal outcome for me by the process of elimination is 2-2.
Do you think we concede first, or throw away a lead, or a guess at 2-2, maybe both of those things?
Well, we saw that at Watford, right? Like, that's what we did. But then they were also goals from direct free kicks. So that's why I'm kind of hoping there'll be, not that. Oh, I tell a lie. One was a set piece, and then the other was a free kick. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. Like, I wouldn't be too upset, but I'd also not be excited. Like, I'll be just kind of like miffed, and then we'll be able to talk about Sunday. I
think a draw's a reasonable result, right? I think that's fair.
It's not what you got to predict, though, is it?
It's positive. No, mate. I think we're going to win 4-1. I don't know why. It's just a feeling I've got. I think things are just going to click into gear. I think that something's going to happen. We're going to expose some of the weaknesses that we saw in Middlesbrough, and I just think, Armstrong with a brace, Ross Stewart to get a goal, and Fellows to get his first Saints goal. It's just what I'm feeling, but not confident enough to say that we're going to keep a clean sheet, obviously, because that would be ridiculous. So that's me, mate. 4-1.
The more I clip these up and put them on the internet, mate, the more fun we are going to be made of. Like, you're aware of that, right?
Right. We'll see. We will see on Saturday who's making fun of who.
I'm still happy for that. I'm not happy about it, to be clear, but I'm still remember you talking about how we're going to go on an undefeated run in the Premier League, and we did not. And that clip posted on Christmas Eve because I scheduled it and completely forgot about scheduling it as well. So need another one of those.
Well, look, mate, it's the positivity that we've got to head into a Saturday afternoon at St Mary's with.
I just, again, like, I'm hoping if we can carry on with a bit of the momentum from this game and we put a point on the board against current league leaders, it's a good outcome. It's not what everyone's going to want, but for me, it is a good outcome for where we are and where they are.
All right, mate. No, look, I'd be happy with it, but I'm more excited for my prediction, that's for sure. That is all we've got time for today. Zach, as always, thank you very much for joining me, and thank you everybody for listening. Let us know in the comments or on the social medias your score prediction. How do you think it's going to play out? Comfortable Saints win? It's got to be, right? Surely. We're on all of them. We're on X, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, absolutely everywhere. Hit us up and let us know. We love hearing from you. Regardless of what happens, we will be back on Monday to talk about it, either in really good moods or really not. Or maybe both. Who knows? But listen, until then, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you then. And everybody have a wonderful weekend. Come on, Saints.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.